Park in Christchurch. This is Keith McEwen reporting on the occasion of the first rugby international between France and New Zealand. The ground has recovered somewhat from the heavy rain. The new caps for France playing their first internationals today: Irasabel, Bow and Piazza. For New Zealand, one new cap only. This is O'Callaghan, who play in jersey 13, replacing the injured steel. There he is, Michael O'Callaghan from Manawatu. The ground's very heavy in centre field between 25s and 25s. New Zealand in the first half will be playing from right to left across your screen. Fullback McCormick placing the ball in centre field to kick off. Sharing the commentary with me today will be former All Black hooker Dennis Young. Referee today, Mr. David Miller from Otago. Going straight and taking it, Spongero, the number 8 forward. O'Callaghan to throw in, 10 yards outside France's 25. A penalty France. Fullback Villepreux. The 10-yard mark, New Zealand territory on the left of your screen. O'Callaghan to throw in. Just a minute gone in the first rugby test. Umpires. A chance for Dennis Young to give us his thoughts on how this test match might go.
I think that the ground will be the biggest factor in this game. Now, Fred Allen, New Zealand's coach, is dedicated to the passing game, but whether he feels that he can pass on a day like this remains to be seen. France, they must use their fast and tricky backs.
There's the 10-yard mark. It's 15 yards in from touch. It's a long one for McCormick. And the close-up shows you the surface of the ground badly pockmarked after the heavy rain that's fallen in Christchurch during the past week. Today, beautifully fine. The crowd somewhere near 60,000. The cars. Graham Thorne. Referee Miller playing the knock-on.
That penalty from McCormick was very similar to the kicks that he took in Australia. He seemed to lack the power to get the distance. Normally he can make it. Probably not hitting the ball quite in the correct position.
New Zealand caught offside as France wheeled at scrum, well controlled in the back by Spongero. And fullback Villepreux, kicking from 3 yards inside his half. That's a very fine punch. 3 yards from the New Zealand corner flag. Six at the back of the run out, Salou and Spongero. McLeod, number 2 for New Zealand. Mr. number 7 at the back for New Zealand. Now changing places, Kirkpatrick at the back. Dogar, 4 for France at the back. Ian McRae. It was knocked on. 2 yards from the New Zealand line. PJ to put the ball in. McCars, a drop at goal. Drop out 25. Predictable pattern then is shown from the cars.
The French have always liked this form of scoring, the drop goal, and of course it's always on from that position. The try is difficult there with the defence assembled.
Bongiero, the number 8 forward, taking it in there from the ball, 10 yards outside New Zealand's 25. Laidlaw's ball. Curtin. Stops in the nod. Feeds Laidlaw.
There's one thing certain, there'll be no bounce from the ball today. Even the parts of this ground that look green, the water's just below the surface, and they could cut up very badly.
The other throws in. Ray Miller ruling it wasn't straight. Laidlaw. Bill Davis looking for it for New Zealand. Michael O'Callaghan touching the ball for the first time. Will he get away to touch there?
Well, this is the tactic, the high kick that the French don't like. No team likes it for that matter, but they have their weakness. They tend to move away from the ball, not interested in taking it.
New Zealand forwards will... Offside there, Pouget, the halfback with the ball, number 9. And our captain and fly half today, Lacars, finding touch. O'Callaghan throwing in, 3 yards on France's side of halfway. McLeod to Laidlaw, Curtin. Lacars on the 10-yard mark. Penalty France. That was a fair catch. Lacars claiming the fair catch. Claude Lacars, the only member of the French side that played at Lancaster Park in the third test match in 61, where New Zealand won by 32 points to 3. Number 2 for France, Beau the hooker. Wasn't straight. Greff, number 7 for France. Kiltremain, number 6 for New Zealand. 2 flankers on the near side of the scrum. McCormick having to hurry. Just out of shot to the left. French player hurt.
I think it's the hooker,
Beau the hooker.
Big hooker at bat, 15 stone 5. Must be the heaviest football in international rugby at the moment.
Well, Dennis Young for Boa and Russell Bell, both playing in their first test matches. A tough row assignment today.
Very difficult. Front rows build up combinations the same as back lines do, and to have 2 out of 3 as new caps is putting a lot of pressure on the French scrummaging. There hasn't been any clear pattern so far in this game. Very little passing by either set of backs, although perhaps a point to what could happen was the kick that Earl Curtin put over the back of the French back line. Now this could be a tactic that Fred Allen has devised for his team today.
Now I can pick up a number. It was a sponder from the props. O'Callaghan to restart. It's 10 yards inside New Zealand's 25. Wasn't straight again. Above us, but not in your picture, of course, an aircraft flying over the ground taking photographs of the capacity crowd here. Le Cars, another drop at goal, and it's there. So France lead New Zealand by 3 points to 0 after 9.5 minutes.
Well, this casts back memories to 1961 and the first test in Auckland when Albert Adejo scored with 2 dropped kicks against the All Blacks. And here, once again, Le Cars.
McCormick restarting. Lister, 7 for New Zealand, was up there. Laidlaw in a flash. Curtin, McRae. Bill Kerr racing across. The ball inside the 25. And it's Piazza who gets it away to touch. Bourne throwing in, 3 yards outside the French 25. Piazza's kick hasn't found it. McCormick at halfway. Steve Piazza's ball to the line out, midway 25 and halfway French territory. What's for Dogar? Line out specialist for France. Penalty New Zealand. Line out infringement. And McCormick, New Zealand's fullback.
It looked to me very much as if one of the French players wrapped his arms around Leeds in that line out as he's going for the ball, preventing him from getting off the ground.
Have a look at the distance of this kick for McCormick. Be with the angle around the 43 or 44 yard mark. He's kicking out of a very muddy patch. Footing won't be very firm for him. It could be a vital kick with France leading by 3 points to 0. No goal. France 3, New Zealand 0. Claude Lecars, fly half for France and captain today to restart. Muller for New Zealand, number 3. 7 Lister feeding it back. A drive on here from New Zealand. Laidlaw, Curtin. France offside. The cars, Gil Pura is talking with the referee.
Now that was the first bit of real driving play that we've seen in this game so far, and this is the danger for France. If New Zealand can bring that ball back to their forwards, who have an advantage of a stone a man over the French side, and if they can drive in like that, then France are going to be in a lot of trouble.
McCormick's placed the ball. It's about 5 yards to the right of the post. Relatively easy kick. And he's missed it. McCormick has it. It's a lovely punt for touch. Cambayers to throw in, 3 yards inside his 25. The car's on the fingertips. But it wasn't straight once again. Both O'Callaghan and Thorne are in a position that they can come into the back line should New Zealand win this on either flank. McRae over the 25, setting up the ruck for New Zealand. Laidlaw in a flash. Penalty France against McRae. Lacar's kicking for touch. Had 15 minutes in the first test match, with France leading by 3 points to 0. A dropped goal by Freihalf and captain Lacar's after 9.5 minutes. O'Callaghan throwing in. Puget's kick taking play to the 10-yard mark, France.
Both sets of forwards are using the one-hand tap to gain this ball from the line-out. A dangerous move if this ball gets really slippery. McLeod, then Hopkinson, then Colin Meads. So New Zealand line-up is Lister, number 7 for New Zealand. Coming to Laidlaw, but spoiled there. McCormick taking the ball across the touchline. Cambayers throwing in 6 yards inside France's half. Laidlaw away to Curtin. McRae down the gap. Gilchrist racing across. Waiting for Piazza to throw in. 12 yards inside the French 25. Curtin. McRae, Curtin again. Davis, a chance for Michael O'Callaghan. Pushed out of the touch by opposite number, Cambayers. Only 6 yards from the corner flag. Earl Curtin using the double round, the move that he used so much in England, to great effect there. Ball passed very quickly on.
Cambayers throws in. Six for New Zealand, Tremaine, captain today, captaining New Zealand for the first time in a rugby test match. And it's against McLeod. Still for a kicking. Larue with the ball at toe for France, number 6. Offside. Penalty. The chance for McCormick, his 4th penalty attempt. And time to look at the lineouts, which at the moment favour New Zealand 7-2. 10 have been indecisive.
The thing that impresses me about the French pack so far is that they play it the New Zealand way. You wouldn't pick that this was the French side if you had watched the 1961 team playing, where they were a bit inclined to break up really quickly and flit around, become extra backs and so on. These boys, these French forwards, really stuck in, rucking well, scrummaging very well, and getting their share of line-out ball.
For McCormick, it's about 43 yards. The footing this time a little better than on 2 of the previous 3 attempts. Finally miskicked that one. Fouché away to touch as he's struck to the ground by Bill Davis. I think it is of a team McRae, and it's Bill Davis. On his feet. We're halfway through the first half.
These kicks that Fergie McCormick are missing are very vital for New Zealand. We could do with these points now, even though we're playing into the wind. And we have the wind behind us in the second half. This ball, or these balls that they're using, are going to become more and more difficult to kick for penalties and drops as the game goes on.
Penalty France there for the late tackle. Beautifully taken, Graham Thorne. McCormick. Cars waiting for the bounce. For touch.
I think Thorne thought twice about running it then, but he took one look at the mud patch in front of him and decided that discretion was a better part of valour, and banked down the line.
Yards at the throw-in. The ball hasn't gone along the French back line. First 20 minutes. Fouché back for touch. Thorne throwing in 3 yards in the New Zealand side of halfway. Laidlaw, Curtin, Cambayers, taken by one of the boards. Cambayers has it now. French cover defence very quickly into position, Dennis Sharp.
Yes, very well done. But there was that kick again from Bill Curtin, the one that just gets over the back line and causes the opposition to turn.
Callahan to throw in. 4 yards inside the French half.
Sestier at 3 is really batting at that ball in the line-out. It might be very difficult for the halfback to take anything like that. Salou coming off the back of the line. Now he'd be penalised because once this line-out is formed, players may not drop off. This is the new law this year.
Curtin leads. Laidlaw. Referee Miller ruling the set spot.
Number 12. Masso was very close to being offside then from that ruck, well up. In fact, I think if referee Miller had seen that, it would have been a penalty instead of a scrum.
McRae with the ball. It's Curtin. Cambayers will restart. line out forming 5 yards inside the French 25. Curtin, McRae, Thorne after it, back into McCormick, picking the ball through a toe was Tio, or Mazza rather, one of the centres, and it was out. Ross had to touch.
McRae did the dummy double reverse pass then with Davis. Now every move must have a counter move or an opposite move, and we probably see the same move work next time with the actual reverse pass being taken.
Laidlaw tidies it up. Hasn't found it though. Villeper. The towering punt. Play to halfway. Thrown by Thorne. Doga and Storm both up high that time. Villeper being called up.
I believe Villeper is the only man on the French side that speaks English to any degree.
Leeds leading the New Zealand pack through. McLeod there too, Laidlaw. That's driving in, but the ball lost forward there. Set scrum.
That's the danger for France. Driving play. They do it beautifully too, this New Zealand side. Shoulders low, driving, turning, passing to the next man who's supporting very closely.
Villeper finds touch. 3 yards inside the 25. Graham Thorne will throw in for New Zealand, playing on the right wing. And the crowd of about 60,000 settle down now to watch this rugby test, with France leading by 3 points to 0. Right to the back, Tom Lister, Laidlaw, Curtin the rubber kick, Villeper, the dangerous speculator, and in touch.
Very long pass in, missed out Curtin completely. Ball going straight to Bill Davis.
The short throw-in wasn't straight. Set scrum. Pouget's ball. 2 yards outside his 25.
That scrum was nicely screwed by France, but they couldn't break away with it. They couldn't get to a position where they could pull clear of the scrum and take it upfield. The screwed scrum on the ground like this is another move that is very dangerous.
Against the New Zealand front row, fullback Villeper. That's a big punt. McCormick takes it 10 yards from his line.
What a beautiful kicker this Villeper is. You would think when you watch McCormick kick the ball that he's kicking with a different ball altogether. Villeper, long screw kick spiraling down the line, but Fergie having to punch it pretty hard and then getting not too much distance.
Thrown by umpires, 10 yards outside New Zealand's 25. Pouget. So come as something of a surprise, Dennis, that the French team haven't used their backs at all so far in the match.
Yes, it has. Mind you, they haven't got a lot of good ball to do it, and they too may be a little bit wary of this mud. They've defended very well, both the French backs and forwards. New Zealand certainly have had the large portion of the territorial advantage, but they haven't really looked like scoring.
Laidlaw. Not as well directed as he might have liked. 1 yard on the French side of halfway as Caballero prepares to throw in. McCallaghan standing deep, coming to the back line if it comes New Zealand side. Tremaine coming through, number 6 for New Zealand. Drive on here. Curtin, held by Lacaze. Laidlaw. McRae up there trying to get it for New Zealand. Again, McCormick up. Bill Kerr and O'Callaghan together. Reverse pass to Bill Davis. Bill Kerr waiting for it to go over the goal line. Drop out 25.
Twice there New Zealand backs got caught and we were committed to a ruck, and twice New Zealand got the ball back beautifully from that and had France in trouble.
The car's dropping out. Hopkinson over there for New Zealand on the 25. Back to the touch.
The last decent drop Lacaze did was the one he put over the goal for France at 3 points. He's had 3 dropouts since then from the 25, and each one has skewed off his boot along the ground.
Sam Storm, pair of shorts required. The ceremony completed, we wait for Piazza on the left wing to throw in. Bouger finds touch.
The technique in this trouser changing seems to have altered a bit. It used to be that the players gathered around and there was the traditional throw of the pants over the side, but this is a new touch.
Ball to throw in, 8 yards inside the French 25. New Zealand on attack. Kirkpatrick at the back of the line-out, number 8. Leeds trying to go through there. Laidlaw. And Curtin. Fall in the mud. 15 yards out from the French goal line. A penalty in New Zealand. Hands in there.
Well, these are very foolish mistakes because although McCormick isn't kicking well, sooner or later he's going to put one of these over. None of these kicks have been difficult. He's inside the 25 again. Certainly there's a bit of an angle about it, but well, this time maybe it. He's going to be approaching this ball from a dry patch. The wind coming across it slightly. The New Zealand forwards are massed in front of the goal. They'll be going up as hard as they can in case of a rebound or perhaps the ball falling short.
All eyes now on the New Zealand fullback. McCormick has levelled the score, so after 30 minutes it's New Zealand 3, France 3. Still nothing much in this test match, however. Lacaze makes his mark at halfway. Storm, my ball. Fair catch allowed. Back almost to his 25. Taken over there by Piazza. And it's out of the touch on the 10-yard mark, New Zealand.
the best section of the ground here is inside the 25s, and France, I feel, should use their boot a little more and get down there and then try and use their backs in that position. To try and get down by passing through this middle mud patch is going to be very difficult for them. If they can get down there into this dry ground and spin the ball, then they'll have a good chance of getting tries.
Will Burr now with a chance out of the mud of adding a further 3 points following New Zealand being penalised infringement of that line out. It's a long kick. With the angle around 55 yards. Kicking out of a very muddy patch indeed. 7 minutes to half time. Bill Davis for New Zealand. Piazza to throw in 14 or 15 yards outside New Zealand's 25. Swangiro, number 8 at the back for France, lifter for New Zealand, number 7. Salou for France was through there, number 6. Greff. Fouget. It's a dangerous one from Piazza. McRae, number 11, waiting for it. Bump to the ground. It gets the fair catch. I think, it's a penalty. France ruled offside.
I think it might have been because of a tackle without the ball. The French player definitely had no idea where the ball was when he moved and tackled then.
There's McCormick. Midway, 25 and halfway. Will Piazza will restart play. 6 minutes to half time. 3-all in the test match. Dogar, the back of the line out, Richie Miller being very particular about the gap between the two lines of forwards. Fouget. Over the 25. Danger here.
Well, that was a fine move by France. They put their line out forward at the back, threw the ball to him, created a semi-ruck, passed it back, worked the blind side, and went very close to scoring.
New Zealand forwards ruled in front of Curtin as he dropped out there, so scrum in centre field, and eyes now will focus on Lacaze, number 10. What will he do, the French fly half, standing directly behind the scrum? Outside him, Mazzo on the left, Trio on the right. They can swing the attack either way if Bow can hook this ball. Lacaze. Bill Kerr on the 10-yard mark. Thorne to throw in for New Zealand on the right wing. 5 minutes to half time, 5 yards outside New Zealand's 25. Greff for France takes it back in. Set scrum.
But despite predictions, the game has been a very clean one so far.
Fouget's ball. France screwing again. Salou, number 6, the back of the line out. And Spongero, and now Dogar, number 4.
This will be to the back again, I would say. They'll try that same move. There it goes.
Lister for New Zealand to Laidlaw. Charge down. Thorne in trouble. France looking for the ball. Penalty New Zealand. Hand in there again. Costly mistake. Piazza has it. Claiming the fair catch. Bruce McLeod standing on the mark. You have to take it back to the almost the 10-yard line in French territory. Out into touch and flight. Four yards inside the New Zealand half. Graham Thorne to throw in. A very clear line between the two sets of forwards. Back to Lister. Meads driving through. Penalty against New Zealand in the line out. The cars down for the corner. Thorne having to race back. Could be in trouble here. Piazza with the ball. Into touch.
In these last few minutes, France have been right on attack. At the early stages, it was all New Zealand. Now France are trying hard to get more points in the short time that's left of this half.
Right to the back again. Spongiero getting it back, but Breen Miller blowing for the set scrum. About a minute to half time. The score 3 points all. Field goal by Lacars. Penalty goal by McCormick for New Zealand. Laidlaw to McCormick. France shortening the line out.
Well, there it is again. Got two men out that time, but after the line out had formed. Now, if you want to play a short line out, then you must not bring your men to it in the first place. If you line up 8 men, they must stay there.
Referee Miller explaining to Villepeur the reason for this. Chris Laidlaw, tap penalty. Earl Curtin. This is better. Rugby from New Zealand. McRae to Bill Davis. Loses the ball. The Cars kicks it through. His Campai's flying down. The Cars taking it on. And McCormick stopping the rush for a moment. Tremaine with the ball on the 25 set scrum. An anxious moment for New Zealand.
Well, listen, pace there in this French back line. And it's what could have happened on the dry ground. Anyone's guess is anyone's guess.
Spongiero off the back. Pouget out of the touch. Well, there it is, half-time in the test match at Lancaster Park. The score levelled at 3-all. For France, a field goal by captain and fly half Lacars. For New Zealand, a penalty goal by fullback McCormick. And his found touch too, taking play to the New Zealand 25-yard mark. Quick throw in by Thorne, and Laidlaw slams it back for touch. Lacars throws his hands in the air.
Lacars not very happy about where that ball was thrown in, telling referee Miller that the ball was thrown into the wrong spot.
Piazza throwing in. Pouget in all sorts of trouble as Hopkinson wraps him up. Laidlaw, Curtin, McRae, Davis. O'Callaghan flying down. Umpires getting it to touch. Lineouts favouring New Zealand by 14 to 17 in the first half, with 17 indecisive penalties. New Zealand received 10, France 9. Wasn't straight set scrum, and no tight heads in the match so far. It's pretty muddy out there, as you can see. Bouget putting it in. Back to Villepleur. Chance for Dennis Young to give us his thoughts on what the tactics might be in this the second half.
I think that New Zealand are going to try and get down to this dry area, down the southern end, and get down there in any way they can, which includes the kick. The New Zealand backs had their run just a moment or so ago, and they looked good. They had plenty of pace there, running hard, but not getting many of these runs from either side, really. Not a lot of ball being passed along the back line.
Thrown by umpires.
I feel that New Zealand should try and get their forwards into this driving play that we saw in the first half. If they can develop that and take the battle right to the forwards, then I feel that they're weakened with all this pressure.
He wants the ball. McRae has it for New Zealand. Back in a flash. Here's a chance for New Zealand. McCormick up. Running O'Callaghan into position. McCormick going through. What? Out in the corner.
Very, very close. And the Canterbury crowd would have loved their local hero to have scored there.
Umpires to throw, and it's a yard from the French goal line. Back to the French side. Lacar's starting to move, but it wasn't in straight.
And what's the New Zealand number 8 from this scrum?
And France puts it as a Laidlaw gets it, going backwards. Curtin in trouble.
What a grand effort by the French pack there. Outweighed the stone a man, and New Zealand must have been desperate to get the ball. They'd have been putting in every bit of poundage they could, but they were driven back by the French pack. Great scrummaging.
Bouget's ball. Curtin losing the ball forward in the tackle. Back to Villepleur. McCormick on the 10-yard mark. Back for the corner. It's 1 yard outside the French 25. Salou, number 6 at the back for France. 7 for New Zealand Lister, then 8 Kirkpatrick, 6 Tremaine. Umpires to throw in. 5 yards outside his 25. Again, not straight. Laidlaw's ball. 6 yards outside the French 35. Ian McRae. The outs are waiting on the 25. Swangero in there, holding McRae up for a moment. A penalty New Zealand. Against Swangero. Villepleur having the interpretation explained to him again by referee Miller. Lacar's Number 10, listening in, obviously not too happy with the decision. Kelvin Tremaine being called in. Both captains are together. Bill Miller using Vilper as the interpreter. Now the ruling has been cleared up.
I think perhaps the cars thought the ruling lost something in translation. He wasn't too happy about the first explanation of it.
There's a shot from McCormick, kicking from about 8 yards or 9 yards in from touch, 6 yards outside the 25. A little breeze to allow for, a very muddy patch to kick out of. Could be a vital kick for New Zealand. The score levelled at 3-all. Had 6.5 to 7 minutes in the second half. Beautifully fine overhead, and the crowd of nearly 60,000 watching this test match. So again he's astray. The cars ripped into the dead ball area by Bill Davis. Scrum right on the French line, and now the eyes will focus on the New Zealand pack as it's Chris Laylaw's ball.
I wonder if the French pack can drive them back this time.
Goal line there, just behind the French pack. Laylaw reverse passes to Curtin. McCormick up from fullback. Here's O'Callaghan. Stiff-arm tackle, as you saw, in the penalty New Zealand. The Cars talking to referee Miller. O'Callaghan still on the ground.
Now this is just stupid play by France. They can't afford to give away penalties in this area. They concentrated on tackling hard, getting clear out of the 25 up this other end, and they do far better than this. This can just lead to brawling, and no one wants to see that on the paddock. And if it did develop into a brawl, and we hope that it doesn't, I'm sure it won't, but I'm sure that New Zealand are far better equipped for it than France.
O'Callaghan still receiving attention. And a buzz of excitement in the crowd now. New Zealand on attack right on the French goal line. McCormick has brought the ball back to a yard inside the 25, around about 10 yards in from touch. A much drier area to kick from this time. Plenty of grass there. There's the distance McCormick has for this very vital kick at goal. Footing over there would be not firm, but affording him rather more assistance than he's had in most of his other kicks. This kicked this badly, but Lister has the ball for New Zealand right under the post. Need to win this ruck. Set scrum. Goal line in the background. It's about 6 yards from the line, 5 or 6 yards to the left of the post. Laylor to Curtin. In the play. Speculated through. McCormick racing back. Put on the ground by Mazzo, one of the centres. New Zealand flying in. And no need to explain what that was for. Obvious from the referee's sections. And McCormick with another shot at goal around about the 40-yard mark.
From the previous movement, we saw Ian McRae go in hard and take the tackle. Now, this is the type of play that Ian McRae's been doing for the All Blacks for a number of seasons now. Deliberately going in there, bursting hard, getting through if he could, but if not, setting up the ruck for New Zealand for the secondary play. We could possibly see more of this in this half.
McCormick, his 8th attempt at goal, one successful so far. Bow kicking for touch. Labour will take it though. Having a snap drop at goal. Into Kutatiaka. Could be in trouble. Over the top of Trio. Lister with the ball. Colomese trying to feed it. He goes to Labour. Labour to Curtin. Curtin to Thorne. There's Kel Tremaine. Tremaine held right on the line and bundled out in the corner.
In 1961, Kelvin Tremaine scored a try about 3 yards to the left of that spot.
Tremaine's had a bump. Looks like it might be nothing too serious apart from mud in the eye. Graham Thorne assisting there. Tremaine's okay. New Zealand have been hot on attack. 10 minutes gone in the second half. It seems that the French defence must give way. It's continual pressure from New Zealand. Miller insisting that he wants a clear line through the line out, and Piazza to throw in. Lister has come off the back for New Zealand. New Zealand forwards driving in. Set scrum.
The French are very unhappy about Lister coming off the line out. They obviously are saying, well, if you're going to penalise us, then we take our man off. Why aren't you penalising Lister? Because he did leave after the line out had been formed.
Laidlaw's ball, 3 yards from the French line. In a flash he has it. There's Lister, New Zealand. Kel Tremaine couldn't quite get that pass clear. Penalty New Zealand. Hands in there again. The car's almost gone cross by Lord Tremaine, feeding it out there to McCormick. Out to Lister. Must be a try to New Zealand here, surely. Davis drops the ball. Pouget kicks it through for France. 10 yards outside New Zealand's 25. Taking it on Dogan, number 4. And France storm onto the attack. Long, loud blast on the whistle. And it might be fair to say, Dennis, that Lister may have run a yard too far with the ball.
I think there's a try on there. Lister ran hard, but there's a man outside of him, and just that bit too far, and he was lowered by a beautiful tackle around the ankles, and the opportunity was gone. And from the spilled ball, France came away beautifully up to where they are now. But here they go, ruining the game by stupid things.
France hadn't retired 10 yards. And this continual incurring of penalties, Dennis, is something that could upset their very fine play we saw in the first half, and they look a little bit ragged now.
Well, they're obviously upsetting themselves, and this can tend to lead to all sorts of unpleasant things on the field. This is where the language barrier, of course, is such a problem for them.
McCormick puts New Zealand right back on attack. 2 yards outside the French 25. 14 minutes gone, the second half, 3-all the score. Wasn't straight again, set scrum. Small aircraft flying overhead, taking aerial photographs of Lancaster Park, near capacity crowd. They wait for Laidlaw to put the ball in. McRae knocks it on. Set scrum. Mud in the eye again, I think, over there. Looks like trouble Tremaine once again. No, it's not Tremaine. It's Ian McRae going back to his position at second 5/8 for New Zealand. Puget to put the ball in. Swangera off the back. Puget, Bataville Pra. McCormick racing back inside his 25, bouncing down towards the goal line. Bill Davis has it. Drop out 25. Curtin to drop out. Fuller for New Zealand on the 25.
Didn't go the distance, and so New Zealand have given away a scrum to France in an ideal position in the centre of the 25, two sides to work on, and France's ball. Well, they split the back line up.
Trio going on the right, Lazo on the left, and Lacar standing just to the left of the scrum. Lazo, trio, onto Campairos.
That could have been dangerous, but I feel that Kirkpatrick coming across there and cover defence had it fairly well covered.
Graham Thorne to throw in. 1 yard inside New Zealand's 25. It'll be France.
Well, we haven't seen many penalties going to France so far. I'm not sure what the score is, but it seems to me that it's pretty heavily in favour of New Zealand on the penalty count.
Bill Kerr, a very muddy patch here. It's not a difficult kick. Well, it's not a long kick, should we say. It's about 15 yards in from the touch line. And the distance to the post would be around about 35 yards.
In New Zealand's last test in Brisbane, there were boys on the sideline bringing on tins of sand to tee the ball up. In the next test at Lancaster Park, they're gathering up the mud. But all has changed in only a matter of 3 or 4 weeks.
Bill Kerr, a very important kick. And it scores for France lead New Zealand after 17 minutes in the second half by 6 points to 3. New Zealand, after that long period on attack, they had several scoring opportunities, was just eluded them. France coming back on attack for only the second time in the second half. New Zealand concede a penalty, and Bill Kerr puts the visitors ahead by 6-3 as McCormick restarts. Spongero.
That was a very good kick by Bill Kerr because it was right in the middle of a mud patch. He had to approach it in mud and kick it in mud. He came on the angle and swung his boot at it, as many of the kickers do in Britain and in France. And certainly a very valuable kick.
From the fair catch, Spongero kicking down the touchline. Chris Laidlaw has it at halfway. Puget into Villepreux. McCormick takes it, but it's in touch. What a lovely kick.
He's a fine fullback. I think of all the Frenchmen today, Bill Kerr has impressed me more than any.
Thorne to throw in. 1 yard on the New Zealand side of halfway. Tremaine for New Zealand to halfway. Back to Laidlaw. Held by Salou, gets his kick in. Piazza slamming it for touch.
The French backs will have to watch where they're standing in these ruts. Both the cars and Mazzo were definitely in front of the back man in that ruck on the previous occasion. If the referee catches them there, they could be in trouble again.
Sparrow at the front of the line out, then there's Sponder. Back to Laidlaw, Curtin. Looking for Graham Thorne, dancing in the mud. Umpires. Speculated by Trio, hasn't found touch. The fair catch called for there by Piazza wasn't ruled.
Several times this afternoon in this game, players have been left stranded by the non-bounce of the ball. Coming across to cover, allowing for the bounce, it hasn't happened, and they've had to put on the brakes very smartly and come back and try and cover it.
There's a throw in by O'Callaghan. Spongiero for France. Another set scrum. No tight heads in the match so far, with France leading by 6 points to 3. Bouget's ball. Bill Crowe has knocked that one on. New Zealand go into the French 25 by 10 yards with a scrum with Laidlaw to put the ball in. Fitzpatrick is off the back. He has it. Curtin. 6 yards from the line. Long blast on the whistle, a penalty New Zealand.
When Kirkpatrick came off the scrum and stood out in his position, when the ball came to him, McRae came on the inside and called for the ball as a dummy, as a blind, and then the ball was fed out to the outside from him. Now this is a move that was used in Australia regularly.
McCormick, they don't come any easier. "21 minutes, 6-all the score." For the cars to restart. Colin Reeds also the fair catch. Standing on the mark, Bow. The French hooker, number 2. With him, Sister. So having the touch midway, 25 and halfway. New Zealand territory. The answer to throw in.
Well, to the back, I would say, this time.
Sister for France, taking it back in. So it's gone.
Sister came out then as if he was jet propelled. I don't know exactly what happened.
Laidlaw's ball. Curtin. Five yards inside the New Zealand half. Yards of the throw in. Back again. Penalty New Zealand, and you had a perfect view of that one. kick for New Zealand. Pouget. Graham Thorne. It's in touch. Somebody's had a bump. Can't identify him for you at the moment.
Whoever it is, it looks like a sore back. You'd think France would learn about this handling in rucks. It must have been the cause of 5 or 6 penalties against them this afternoon. It doesn't, hand doesn't look like a foot, and they're doing it time and time again, being caught by the referee and suffering the penalty.
Second half, New Zealand received 8 penalties, France 1. Lineouts, New Zealand won 4, France 1. Quite a number indecisive, but this one's not, as Laidlaw feeds Kirk. Dummy scissors from McRae, Bill Davis, McCormick in. O'Callaghan with the ball, wrapped up by Compires over there. 10-yard mark France. The penalty France. Bill Prawn, number 15, French fullback, kicked from his own 10-yard mark. Callahan to throw in on New Zealand's left wing side. 5 yards inside the New Zealand half. Lister taking the ball through a toe from New Zealand. Tremaine up to try to carry it on. Lazo punch to the ground. Ball passed forward. Is it? Yes, the 3/4. That's a Piazza. All set to restart, and Chris Loader was trio, one of the centres. Had the butt as McRae to Curtin loses it forward. And referee Miller playing the advantage for just a moment. Now moving down the set scrum.
I've got a sneaking suspicion that Fergie McCormick was being dragged away without the ball then, but the referee didn't see it.
Swangera off the back for France at halfway. In another set scrum. Well, time is running out. We've got around about 15 minutes to go in the second half. The score 6-all. Pouget's ball. Penalty against Pouget. Chris Laidlaw with the ball. Kicking. All up and under. Fair catch. Called for by Salou on the 25.
I think Salou would be well advised after he takes his mark to move off. He stands there, hopefully, but with big forwards coming down as New Zealand forwards do, I think I'd be inclined to run and come back later for my kick.
Laidlaw shooting it into Curtin. Down for the corner, Vilper waiting for it, 15 out from his goal line. Gets his kick away. Hasn't found touch, Hopkinson running it. Right there by Dogar. And Dogar ruled naturally enough offside. The tap kick, Tremaine. Laidlaw. McRae. 6 yards outside the 25. Hopkinson. Curtin to McCormick. Dogar's after him. Dumped out into touch. 10 yards inside the first 25. Campaios to throw in. New Zealand back on attack. Getting his pass away to Mazzo. And Thorne with yards right on him. Up to the ground by Mazzo, but there's Bill Davis with it for New Zealand. Colin Meads. Yards to throw in. 10 yards outside his 25. Left wing side France. The ball through Hopkinson to the French 25, inside it by about a yard. The score 6-all. 28 minutes gone. Piazza to throw in. Storm down to Laidlaw. Curtin to Graham Thorne over the 25. And a penalty to New Zealand. McRae, I think. Tackled very heavily there. Without the ball. Lacaz is not happy. And for McCormick a chance to put New Zealand ahead in the test match. Not a long kick. It's kicking from 2 yards inside the 25, about 6 yards to the left of the uprights. New Zealand 9 and France 6, 10 minutes to go. Lacaz to kick off. Laidlaw. Had called for the fair catch. And standing on the mark is Sponda and Hooker Bow. A handy kick from Laidlaw, taking play to 6 yards inside the New Zealand half. Piazza to restart. Okay, but not straight. Great number of indecisive lineouts, the test match. Chris Laidlaw's ball. McCormick. Vilper, beautiful position. Thorne will throw in midway 25 and halfway French territory. 9 minutes to the end of the match. New Zealand 9 and France 3. Piazza. Downfield and back into touch.
With time running out, France must do something here to pull the game back in their favour. Now, you may as well go down by 6 points or 3 points. The risk had to be taken. Just what they can do is hard to say. They've been using the back of the line out well in an effort to clear the ball. Perhaps they can develop this. But certainly they'll have to risk something here to win the game.
Laidlaw's ball, midway 25 and halfway. Kirkpatrick off the back for New Zealand. Running strongly. New Zealand driving in. It's through by Lister. In touch 1 yard outside the French 25. Dawn throwing in. Again. Penalty against, I think, Colin Leeds that time. Villepeur, probably the cleanest man on the ground. He's had a lot of work today for France. Nevertheless, there's his punt down the touchline to halfway. Graham Thorne to throw in. New Zealand's right wing. Pouget. Leeds picking up that ball, which was dropped by Lacars, O'Callaghan. Spongero for France. Chris Laidlaw for New Zealand at halfway. Bill Tremaine playing halfback. Scrum, and just recapping on that move by New Zealand, it all started when Lister got through quickly to put Lacars on the ground. No tight heads in the match so far. New Zealand 9, France 6. Laidlaw on the short side. Baez throwing in. Penalty France against New Zealand. Tied the line up. Pouget. Stoddard. New Zealand hadn't retired the necessary distance. There's 5 minutes to go in the match. And Villepeur coming up from fullback to kick for goal. Kicking out of a sea of mud. It's a very long one. I wonder if it wouldn't be better to take a leaf out of New Zealand's book and use the up and under. It's a long kick, and I think it's beyond him. But the up and under coming down in front of the goalpost there could bring rewards. Villepeurs 50-yarders on the way. What a splendid kick! 9-all. 5 minutes to go.
Well, it was a wonderful kick, and it's moments like this we wish he hadn't made those comments. That would be by far the best kick of the match. Clark that even Don Clark would be proud of.
McCormick to restart. Set scrum. Somebody hurt.
I personally would just hope at this stage that this game isn't won or lost on a penalty. It's a bad way to lose a test on a penalty. There's a lot of talk about changing rules and bringing differential penalties where, for minor infringements, kicks aren't taken at goal, and I think there's a lot of merit in this.
There's Griff, the flanker, had the bump, seems to be all set. Referee Miller blows time on, which is about 4 minutes now to the end of the game. Chris Laidlaw's ball. Curtin kicking for Graham Thorne. Beautifully taken Thorne. Will Davis going down 10 yards from the line by Mazo. New Zealand now in a very firm piece of Lancaster Park, and the New Zealand crowd throwing the roar there. Encouragement, 9-all the score. Graham Thorne throwing in. Chris Laidlaw over the top, New Zealand. Still to Main at halfback. Wrapped up by the French forward very smartly on the set stop.
They were obviously waiting for Kelvin as he came around the side, that they wrapped him up without any chance at all of him getting the ball away.
Shadow of the camera tower encroaching onto the ground now, right out in front of the posts. 15 yards from the French line. Laidlaw still to the blue grey. Vilpur speculates. Anything could happen here. They try to... We saw Vilpur speculate once in the first half. Was successful. That time it came badly unstuck, and a very bad blemish on what has been a pretty good copybook dinner shunt for Vilpur today.
Well, I feel very sorry for him. This is unfair. Not the try. I'm not against. I'm not saying that New Zealand didn't deserve that try, but for Vilpur to be the instrument of it seems to me to be against his true rewards.
McCormick has got a reasonably dry piece of ground for his run-up. Quite a muddy patch in front of him. The ball is very greasy now. New Zealand leading by 12 points to 3 with this kick to come. 12 points to 9, I beg your pardon. There's the kick. Just outside the uprights. About a minute to go, we make it. Well, there it is, the end of the test match. New Zealand beating France by 12 points to 9. For his thoughts on the match, here's Dennis Young.
Well, I believe that the New Zealand team deserved to win that game because they stuck to the game. France played very, very well, especially in the forwards, but spoiled the display by these stupid penalties, these infringements, and just a little bit of play that wasn't quite up to what we'd expect in international matches. New Zealand tried to pass the ball along the backs, but met against some very strong defence and great tackling. France, we didn't see much of the French back line. They tried the occasional sortie, but it was mainly from New Zealand that we saw the back movements. In some ways a disappointing test, but overall I would say that both teams come out with credit, and certainly France has done a lot to regain the image after that loss in 1961 on this park, when they lost by some 30 points to 3.
For New Zealand, a try there to Curtin, and 3 penalty goals kicked by McCormick. For France, 2 penalty goals kicked by fullback Vilpur and a drop goal by Lacaze. The final score, New Zealand 12, France 9. 2 yards from the New Zealand line. DJ to put the ball in. The cars, a drop at goal. Drop out 25. Predictable pattern then is shown from the cars.
The French have always liked this form of scoring, the drop goal, and of course it's always on from that position. The try is difficult there with the defence assembled.
Bongiero, the number 8 forward, taking it in there. The ball 10 yards outside New Zealand's 25. Laidlaw's ball. Curtin stops in the nod. Feeds Laidlaw.
There's one thing certain, there'll be no bounce from the ball today. Even the parts of this ground that look green, the water's just below the surface, and they could cut up very badly.
Piazza throws in. Somewhere near 60,000. Le Cars. Graham Thorne. Whitley Miller playing the knock-on.
That penalty from McCormick was very similar to the kicks that he took in Australia. He seemed to lack the power to get the distance. Normally he can make it, probably not hitting the ball quite in the correct position.
New Zealand caught offside as France wheeled at scrum, well controlled in the back by Bongiero. And fullback Villepreux, kicking from 3 yards inside his half. That's a very fine punt. 3 yards from the New Zealand corner flag. Six at the back of the run out, Salou and Spongero. McLeod, number 2 for New Zealand. Lister, number 7 at the back for New Zealand. Now changing places, Kirkpatrick at the back. Delgar, 4 for France at the back. Ian McRae. It was knocked on. A penalty France. Fullback Villepreux. The 10-yard mark, New Zealand territory on the left of your screen. O'Callaghan to throw in. Just a minute gone in the first rugby test. Umpires. A chance for Dennis Young to give us his thoughts on how this test match might go.
I think that the ground will be the biggest factor in this game. Now, Fred Allen, New Zealand's coach, is dedicated to the passing game, but whether he feels that he can pass on a day like this remains to be seen. France, they must use their fast and tricky backs.
There's the 10-yard mark. It's 15 yards in from touch. It's a long one for McCormick. The close-up shows you the surface of the ground badly pockmarked after the heavy rain that's fallen in Christchurch during the past week. Today, beautifully fine. The crowd to park in Christchurch. This is Keith McEwen reporting on the occasion of the first Rugby International between France and New Zealand. The ground has recovered somewhat from the heavy rain. The new caps for France playing their first internationals today: Isabel, Bow and Piazza. For New Zealand, one new cap only. This is O'Callaghan, who'll play in jersey 13, replacing the injured Steele. There he is, Michael O'Callaghan from Manawatu. The ground's very heavy in centre field between 25s and 25s. New Zealand in the first half will be playing from right to left across your screen. Fullback McCormick placing the ball in centre field to kick off. Sharing the commentary with me today will be former All Black hooker Dennis Young. Referee today, Mr. David Miller from Otago. Going straight and taking it, Spongero, the number 8 forward. O'Callaghan to throw in, 10 yards outside France's 25. Ray Miller ruling it wasn't straight. Laidlaw. Bill Davis looking for it for New Zealand. Michael O'Callaghan touching the ball for the first time. Did he get away to touch there?
Well, this is the tactic, the high kick that the French don't like. No team likes it for that matter, but they have their weakness. They tend to move away from the ball, not interested in taking it.
New Zealand forwards will... Offside there, Pouget, the halfback with the ball, number 9. And our captain and fly half today, Lacaze, finding touch. O'Callaghan throwing in, 3 yards on France's side of halfway. McLeod to Laidlaw, Curtin. Lacaze on the 10-yard mark. Penalty France. That was a fair catch. Lacaze claiming the fair catch.